Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. As we know, coming up here pretty soon, we've got the massive Season 1 update for Warzone, alongside the Cold War integration as well. And this is really going to be the biggest update that Warzone has ever seen in its history. It's going to add in, obviously, a ton of new weapons, pretty much the whole Cold War arsenal. We're going to get some other updates too, probably the whole Alcatraz map, all that good stuff, right? But as it stands right now, Warzone definitely still has some issues, I would say. You know, there are some things that I think personally have, I guess, been plaguing the game over the course of, the past few months and whatnot. Some of them even longer than that. You know, there are some issues that have been around since day one. I think you probably know where I'm going with some of those. But yeah, today, basically, I wanted to sit down and break down some of the key issues that I think Warzone has right now. Obviously, we've got a ton of content, then also a ton of changes coming up for Warzone over the course of the next few months and beyond. So a lot is going to change, and hopefully some of the things that we talk about here today end up getting fixed. So if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new to the channel, or if you're watching and you're not already subscribed, we are trying to hit 650,000 subs before the end of the year. You guys have been absolutely killing the support lately. We're gaining over like 1,000 new subs every single day. So if you want to stay up to date with really everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates, you name it, you're going to find it all right here on the channel. So feel free to subscribe and maybe even turn on those post notifications. Also, right now, Code WARZONE is actually 30% off on G Fuel, so if you want to grab anything there, be it a new tub, a shaker cup, a starter pack, anything like that, right now is a great time to pick up anything you might want for the holidays. Anyways, first and foremost, something that I think has been especially a bummer lately is that of the rotating LTMs or limited time modes. Obviously, these are things that we've seen all throughout the year, really ever since launch, and we've had the stimulus modes where you automatically come back if you've got $4,000 or $4,500. We've had realism, we've had zombies royale, so on and so forth. Honestly, all modes that I absolutely loved. There were also some more casual ones like Rumble or even Mini Royale that seem to be very, very popular too, but unfortunately, those modes really only lasted about a week at a time, with the exception of a few of them, and that to me is something that I think should be changed moving forward. Now, of course, with the addition of Alcatraz here soon, or Rebirth rather, I would imagine that would always stay as a permanent option alongside regular Battle Royale and then also Plunder. That way we would always have a second map to play on if we wanted to. But then alongside that, I feel like we should also have like an LTM playlist, if you will, that isn't just a weekly thing. Maybe that ends up being Rumble for that more casual experience, or maybe there is always a Stimulus variant going on in the regular Battle Royale playlist. So if it's not Stimulus quads, then it's Stimulus solos or whatever else. That way we just have a bit more variety when it comes to the modes. I think previously the worry there was that the player base would just be, I guess, spread too thin. Then because of that, the lobbies would then suffer. But obviously, Warzone is huge, right? Personally, I don't see that being a big issue moving forward, so I would love to see an upgrade to the available playlists. Now, another big update that I'm really hoping to see is some new map changes and some significant ones at that. I will admit, Verdansk is a great play space. I love the map a lot, but in the time that it's been available, we really haven't seen any major changes outside of not one, but two trains being added in, and then also the stadium roof getting blown open and the interior becoming accessible. However, we really haven't seen any new locations added in, we haven't seen any removed in any major way, and that is kind of getting to the point where Verdansk gameplay is just a bit monotonous, I would say. I mean, we have all this area around the map that I feel like could be expanded. Maybe we see Estate from MW2 thrown in some of the mountainous areas surrounding the north or the east side of the map. Maybe we get the high-rise buildings in downtown. There's obviously a lot of iconic locations that could be added to Verdansk, and I hope moving forward we see some bigger changes than what we've already had. Also, to speak a bit more on that, we do know that Treyarch said recently that Verdansk is going to pretty much evolve to feature iconic Black Ops locations, vehicles, themes, and more. So that in and of itself is pretty much a confirmation that we are going to have some new points of interest. As to what those may be, only time is going to tell, of course, but map changes I think should be a very big priority change moving forward. I also don't know if this would necessarily fall under map changes. I guess it would in a sense, but the geo around the map is still pretty rough to actually navigate depending on where exactly you're at. Mainly what I'm talking about here is like the rocks on the side of the hills or mountains that you can't really climb up, even though it appears that you should be able to climb up them. Basically, moving up any geo like that is either going to require a whole lot of luck, a whole lot of time, or you're probably going to get killed because your character just never wants to climb things normally, I guess. So this is more so a small but definitely an impactful change in my mind. Moving on though, we gotta talk about the weapons and I guess the balancing there. I will say for the most part, I think the Warzone meta is currently in a pretty good state overall. This may change some when the Cold War weapons are added in, but currently most of the assault rifles I feel like are pretty usable. A handful of the SMGs are too. Pretty much all the LMGs are, especially like the PKM, the Bruin, even the SA-87 now is honestly pretty competitive. However, there's also a few weapons that seem a bit busted, if you will. Really, I'm looking at the shotguns here. The R90 more so than the VOK Rogue, but both are definitely a bit too dominant if you ask me. I get that shotguns should really dominate extremely close range fights, but it seems like in every single lobby, I can hear that distant sound of the doof just wreaking havoc on another team, or I'm just pretty much getting smoked by a VOK Rogue with the fire rounds. Really, it is just a brutal time to try and push anything right now around the map, because mostly everyone is using a fire shotgun. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the best way would be to actually balance that. However, the Dragon's Breath on the R90 and the VOK is, without a doubt, the most common loadout right now. I feel like there's also some things that could be changed with loot and just how that works in general. For what it's worth, I really do like the Warzone loot system of the weapons and the ammo just sort of spitting out onto the ground whenever you get in the elimination. However, when things pile up on top of one another, it can be really hard to try and grab the thing that you want to get. Like for instance, if stopping power and a UAV are inside of some ammo, sometimes you can sit there and spam to try and pick them up, and it's just not going to work because the ammo is pretty much just overpowering and overwhelming everything else. You just can't get past it, and it ends up blocking it. This, I would say, is especially rough if you're in a high action scenario when you want to get in and loot fast and get out because there's a fight happening around you, and it can lead to some not so fun situations, at least from my experience. Then I think this next one is kind of a given. The anti-cheat situation has got to improve in some way. I mean, the hackers are still running free all over the place with their aimbots and their wall hacks, and the Epic Gaming oven mitts that they're so clearly using to have skills just so pristine and advanced, right? I mean, there's no other option or answer, really. It all comes down to the oven mitts. On a serious note, though, the fact that hacking is still as bad as it is kind of disappointing to say the least. Something has got to be fixed here between an anti-cheat, a better detection system, or a way to just make it more difficult to create a new account over and over again. Really, I don't think there's much else to say here. The hacking needs to be combated in some way, shape, or form sooner rather than later. Now, something that recently has become, I guess, more of a problem is the Juggernaut spam. I think the other day when Lazy and I were playing, I feel like 5 out of like 7 or 8 matches, there was a Juggernaut called in, and it's to the point where it really just seems like it's a crutch and kind of disrupts the flow of the game. Obviously, no one is going to try and push a Jug, and it becomes like this whole cat and mouse scenario. Personally, just not a fan whatsoever of the thick death machine wielding fellers. Then finally, I'm sure everyone saw this one coming. Skill-based matchmaking is some cheese. Every gunfight feels the same when you pass a certain skill bracket. It just really doesn't offer any kind of variety, at least in my matches. I think most players around my skill level would probably agree, but time and again, we've talked about this. You're either for it or you're against it. Personally, like I said, not a fan, but again, not much that needs to be said here without just being a broken record. So yeah, those are really the big issues that I think Warzone is, I guess, suffering from right now. And as I said in the intro, hopefully this video can help actually sort some of these out. Maybe come these future updates, come this season 1 update and beyond, we're actually going to see some of this fixed, and overall, we can help improve the state of the game. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here, if you like what you see, you want to see more content like this, feel free to hit that sub button. That way you can stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in the world of Call of Duty. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WhosImmortal for a spicy discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products. Then also, if you want to join the community Discord server, that and everything else will be linked down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.